Reflection. Humans utilize many items such as food and drink and clothing. Among them are items that enhance defilements. They are not suitable. There are items that do not cause the development of defilements. They are suitable items. Here, reflection means when using items such as robes, seeing them in terms of elements and their loathsomeness in order to avoid inapariboga, one must reflect every time an undana inner garment of a bhikkhu is donned and with each mouthful of food consumed. Anyone who is unable to do so should reflect several times a day. Even if this is not possible, one should wake up before dawn and reflect on everything used during that day. If a day passes without reflection, everything used during the day falls into inapariboga. Reflection regarding shelter must be done every time one enters it, failing which the procedure as for robes must be adopted. Gilan Pasa requisites for the sick must be taken only for a specific purpose. Accepting and consuming must be done with reflection. Reflection after consuming Gilan Pasa is not sufficient. If it is not possible to reflect when accepting, reflection must be done without fail while consuming. Otherwise, it is stated that it will result in an offense for the bhikkhu. Many use Pali phrases when reflecting. This is suitable only for those proficient enough in Pali as to realize the meaning of the Pali words as fully as realizing the meaning of the words in their own language when they are uttered. Uttering a Pali word one does not understand in order to reflect will not result in proper reflection. Therefore, those who are not proficient in Pali should reflect in their own language. Reflection in the mother tongue itself is suitable for those who have incomplete knowledge of Pali. All garments worn or wrapped round by bhikkhus become robes. If robes are used to appear beautiful or important, it is using the robes for improper reasons. It develops greed, conceit, and self-view. It is proper to use robes to avoid cold. Using robes to protect against heat from sun or fire is suitable. Using robes to protect against flies and mosquitoes, possible harm from poisonous creatures such as centipedes, scorpions, and wind and sun is suitable. Those who do not cover certain parts of their bodies progressively lose shame. It is dangerous to be without shame. It is like gaining an animal habit by a human. Using robes to cover places that can cause shame is also suitable. There are 4 reasons for which the wearing of robes is suitable. Reflect in one's own language with full realization when wearing of robes. I wear these robes to overcome the cold, heat, and prevent harm that can be caused by flies, mosquitoes, sun, wind, and creatures such as centipedes and scorpions. To cover body parts which will cause shame if they are not covered. The 4 benefits mentioned above can be had from any robe, which is beautiful or not, or of high value or not. Therefore, the bhikkhu who wears the robes reflecting the suitable aspects does not create a greedy feeling that the robes are good. The greed in searching for beautiful robes of high value does not arise. Conceit that who else other than I have such robes does not arise. A dislike will not arise for bad and undesirable robes. Such a bhikkhu will use robes properly, divide of defilements. Reflection is twofold, which is reflection at the time of receiving a requisite and reflection when utilizing it. It has been said that non-reflection at the time of using the robes and the like, which has already been reflected on as elements and as loathsome at the time of receipt, is not improper. Reflection at the time of receiving as well as using is better. Reflection as elements is a somewhat deep matter. Knowledge of the examination of the absolute matters is required to do it properly. This is how reflection as elements regarding robes should be done. This robe, made up of the elements of earth, water, heat, and wind, is a collection of elements. This body covered by the robes is also a collection of elements. This body, which is a collection of elements, is not a living being or a person. Therefore, the robes also do not know that they are wrapped around the body. The body too does not know that the robes are wrapped around it. The body and the robes exist without any expectations about themselves. Such reflection as elements remove any possible greed and conceit regarding robes. Especially the self-view will be removed. This is how reflection as loathsome should be done. This clean robe, by coming into contact with this body that exudes feces, urine, spit, rheum, and sweat, through 9 large orifices and many small orifices, will become dirty. There are suitable and unsuitable matters concerning the consumption of food. Village kids who receive food will fight among themselves and eat playfully. It is not proper for bhikkhus to consume food in such a manner. It is improper to consume food given by devotees in order to build up strength, as done by wrestlers and soldiers. It is improper to consume food supplied by devotees to build up the body and grow fat. Consuming food supplied by devotees to make the body beautiful like prostitutes do is not proper. It is proper to consume food given by devotees in order to maintain the body and life. Consuming food to overcome hunger is suitable. It is not possible to conduct proper practice in the sasana without taking food. It is proper to consume food for the purpose of performing bhikkhu practices in the sasana. Consuming food wisely will overcome hunger. Consuming food with due regard for the pain arising from overeating is proper. Consuming food wisely will overcome hunger. Consuming food with due regard for the pain arising from overeating is proper. It is suitable to consume food with the consideration that eating the correct quantities will maintain life over a long period. It is suitable to consume food with the consideration that eating the correct quantities will maintain life over a long period. It is proper to consume food with the knowledge that eating wisely helps me live long. Consuming food wisely will overcome hunger, and the discomfort caused by overeating will not arise. It is proper to consume food with the knowledge that eating the correct amounts will result in long life. Consumption of food in this manner is not eating food obtained by an improper means, and as such, it is proper utilization of a requisite. Consuming of food in correct quantities in this manner for healthy living is suitable. These proper and improper matters should be taken into consideration by bhikkhus when consuming food, even then. Chattaro pancha alope abhutva adakam pive alam pasu viharaya pahi tatasa bhikkhuno. The bhikkhu who desires to attain nibbana should eat 4 to 5 mouthfuls less than the capacity of the stomach and drink water. Eating in this manner will facilitate comfortable change of postures and healthy living. Greed will wane from the bhikkhu who reflects while eating as given above. The Tathagata has related the story about parents eating the flesh of the son in the Putru Mansopuma Sutta to illustrate the measure of suppressing greed for food. It is as follows. A couple had set off on a journey across a desert, 100 yojanas long, along with their infant son and meager supplies for the trip. They finished their food and drink by the time they reached the middle of the desert. They had no way of proceeding further or returning. They sat under a tree as they were exhausted, thirsty and hungry. The husband told the wife that there is no house or village for the next 50 yojanas. A man cannot do anything here. It is better if at least 2 of you live, instead of all 3 dying here. Therefore kill me, eat part of the flesh, and carry away a part of it to be eaten on the way. The wife then told the husband, there is no industry in which a woman can engage herself, so kill me, eat the flesh, and you escape with the child. Then the husband said, dear, if you die, this child cannot survive. Your death means the death of 2 persons. If we live, we can live, have children in the future. Let us kill the child, eat his flesh, and cross the desert. Then the wife sent the child towards the father. The father sent back the child, saying that he cannot kill the child who was brought up with great difficulty. The child who was being sent back and forth died. The parents wept about the death of their child, and as there was no other way left for survival, they ate the flesh of the child to save their lives and crossed the desert. This is the simile of flesh of the son. These 2 parents find the flesh repulsive because it is the flesh of their own son, own kind. It is also repulsive because it is the flesh of their relative. It is also repulsive because it is the flesh of the son. It is also repulsive because it is the flesh of their beloved son. It is also repulsive because it is tender flesh. It is also repulsive because it is raw flesh. It is also repulsive because it is flesh not normally eaten. Repulsive because there is no salt. Repulsive because there are no spices or chilies. Such meat, repulsive in 9 ways, was eaten without the slightest willingness. They do not select the better portion of meat to eat. Do not eat until the stomach is full. They eat very little, as if taking a bitter medicine. The thought that one should eat a better portion than the other does not arise. The thought that they will look well and eat the balanced meat after passing the desert will not arise. They do not feel proud that only we and no other has food as tasty as this. They will not divide it as this is for me and this is for you. They eat it peacefully. Ill will that who can eat this dirty food does not arise in their minds. The Tathagata teaches by this simile how this couple consumed this food devoid of greed and conceit, with the sole intention of crossing the desert. Bhikkhus should consume food given by devotees or received by other means with reflection of no greed that this food is very tasty, no greed that a part of it must be stored for tomorrow, no greedy wish that I should receive similar food in the future, no conceit that others will not receive such food. Without any greed and jealousy regarding food, no sadness that the food is of poor quality. Without considering the deliciousness of the food, and only with the balanced thought that it is for the purpose of continuing life. It is possible to consume food with the realization of proper and improper reasons for eating, as taught by the above story. Contemplate as follows when consuming food. I consume this food not for pleasure, not to develop my manly strength, not even to fatten the body, not to beautify the body. I consume this food in order to maintain body and life, to overcome hunger for carrying on the practices in the Buddha Shasana. To maintain life over a period, consumption of this food overcomes my hunger, will not cause discomfort due to overeating, will be able to carry on life over a long period. Consuming food in this manner, not being an improper supply of food, does not become a wrongful consumption. Consuming food in correct quantities in this manner will enable healthy living. Reflection as elements must be done as follows. This food that enters the body develops flesh and blood. However, the food is unaware that it does so. The body too is unaware that it maintains itself and grows because of food. Due to such unawareness, both food and the body become collections of elements without any mutual expectations. Reflection in this manner removes the wrong view of a self that I eat. Reflection as loathsome must be done as follows. This food that appears nice and clean, after arriving at the stomach, mixes with spit, bile, and takes the nature of dog vomit. Further digestion causes them to be formed into feces with extreme loathsomeness. Reflection in this manner removes greed and conceit regarding food. This reflection is a meditation of high esteem in the Buddha Shasana. It is taught in the Pkunuwita Sutta. Sutta, that the development of this reflection to gain knowledge of Kabbalinkaraya will enable one to overcome fetters and avoid being reborn in the world by realizing the anagami fruit. Kabbalinkaraya Bhikkhave Ahare Parinnate Punchukamu Gunniko Rago Parinato Hoti Panchu Kamagunike rage parinnate natti tam sangyojanam yena sangyojanane nanyuto arya savako puna imam lokam agaccheya. Above is a quotation from Putra Mansopuma Sutta. Food causes much defilement. Therefore, bhikkhus must be especially concerned about reflection. Avasu, buildings, beds, chairs, linen, pillows, and mattresses are called senasana, abode. Senasana donated by devotees to the sasana too must be utilized for proper purposes. Using them for improper purposes is a fault. It is not suitable to use senasana for enjoyment. Gathering to conduct Tirasinu animal talk such as royal stories is not suitable. It is improper to use them to commit sins in hiding. It is improper to use senasana for protection against cold. It is proper to use senasana for protection against cold, heat, flies, mosquitoes, sun, wind, and poisonous creatures. It is proper to use senasana to avoid bodily harm caused by dangerous climatic conditions. When living in the open, the mind is confused by contact with objects that result in lustful thoughts. Utilizing senasana to avoid such objects and maintain the concentration of the mind is suitable. While utilizing senasana with good understanding of proper and improper reasons, one should reflect as follows. I am using this senasana to keep away the cold, to keep away the heat, to overcome harm that is caused by flies, mosquitoes, sun, wind, and serpents. Overcome difficulties due to harsh climate, to avoid roaming of the mind and keep it concentrated. Reflection on senasana as elements should be done in this manner, as would a clay statue does not know that it is inside a house. This body, which is activated by vijnana consciousness, will not know that it had entered the senasana. Is lying down in the senasana, staying in the senasana, sleeping or sitting in the senasana. Similarly, the senasana will not know that the body is within the senasana. The body and the senasana, which exist without mutual awareness, are two groups of elements devoid of self or person. Reflection on senasana as loathsome should be done as follows. This clean senasana will become dirty and loathsome due to being occupied by this body exuding dirty matter such as phlegm, rheum, and sweat, as would a place where a patient with a skin disease oozing blood and pus has lived in. Bhikkhus must not consume food and drink after noon. Tathagata has allowed the consumption of medicinal items such as 8 kinds of drinks, ashtapana, oil, ghee, honey, and jaggery to overcome thirst and physical ailments. Their gilanpasa, medicinal items, means items allowed to be consumed after noon to gain relief from ailments. It is improper for bhikkhus to consume gilanpasa for pleasure or to enjoy tasty drinks. It is proper to consume gilanpasa in order to overcome congenital physical ailments and avoid possible future ailments. Reflect as follows when consuming Gilanpasa. I consume this Gilanpasa to overcome ailments and pains in my body. Gilanpasa as elements must be reflected upon in the following manner. This Gilanpasa that enters the body destroys physical suffering and pain. But it does not know that it does so. The body also does not know that the sickness and pain that is subjected to this is overcome by the Gilanpasa. Therefore, Gilanpasa and the body are two groups of elements devoid of mutual expectations. They do not have any nature of self or person. Reflect on Gilanpasa as loathsome in the following manner. This medicine that enters the body mixes with spit and phlegm and becomes loathsome as would the medicine that comes into contact with blood and pus when applied to a festered wound. Pali stanzas on reflection. Reflection on robes. Patisankha yoniso chivaram patisevan yavadeva sitasya patighataya unhasya patighataya dansa makasa vata sirin sapa sampassanam patighataya yavadeva hirikopina paticha dhanatam. Reflection on food. Patisankhya yoniso pindapathang patisevami neva davaya na madaya na mandanaya na vibhusanaya yavadeva imassa kayassa ditya yapanaya vihinsuparatiya brahmacharyanu iti purancha vedanam patti hankami navancha vedanam na upadesami yatra cha me bhavisyati anavajjata cha pasuviharo cha. Reflection on residences. Patisankhya yoniso sena pasena sanam patisevami yavadeva sitasya patighataya unhasya patighataya dansa makasa vata tapa sirin sapa sampassanam patighataya yavadeva utu purisuya vinodanam patisallanaramutum. Reflection on Gilanpasa. Patisankhya yoniso Gilanapachya Besajja parikharam patisevami yavadeva pannanam veyyabhadikhanam vedananam patighathaya abhyapachya pachapuramutaya. Past reflection. Reflection on robes. Maya pacha vikhitva ajjayam chivaram paribhutam tam yavadeva sitasya patighataya unnasya patighataya damsa makasa vatapasirin saku supa sampassanam patighataya yavadeva hirikopina puti chandantam. As elements as loathsome. Yata puchayam pavatum manam dhatu muttame vetam yadidam chivaram tadu pubhajako chupukalo dhatu maktako nissuto vijivo sumno suppani punao imani chivarani ajigucchaniyani imam putikayam patva ativiya jigucchuniyani jayanti. Reflection on food. Maya paccavekitva ajjayo pindapato paribhuto so neva davaya na madaya na mandanaya na vibhusanaya yavadeva imasya kayasya titiyayapanaya vihinsu paratiya brahmacharyanughaya iti puranancha vedanam pati hanikami putihani kami navancha vedanam na upadesami yatra cha me bhavisyati anavajjata cha pasuviharo cha. As elements and as loathsome. Yatha pachuyum pavattamanam dhatu matthamevetam yadidam pindapato tadupa punjuko chupugalo dhatu mattako nisato nijivo sunno subbo pannayam pindapato ajigucchaniyo imam putikayam patva ativiya jigucchaniyo jayati. Reflection on residences. Maya paccaveketva ajjayam senasanam paribhutham yavadeva sitasya patighataya unnasya patighataya dansamakasa vata tapasiri sampasanam patighataya yavadeva utuparisaya vinodanam pati sallanara mattam. As elements and loathsome. Yatha pachuyum pavattamanum dhatu mattamevetam yadidham senasanam tadupu punjako cha pugalo dhatu mattako nisoto nijivo sunno sabbani puna imani senasani ajigucchuniyani imam putikayam patva ativiya jigucchaniyani jayanti. Reflection on Gilampasa. Maya paccavekitva ajjayo gilano pacchaya besajja parikharo paribhutoso veyade yavadeva unpannanam veyabhadhikhanam vedanam patighataya abhyapajja puramataya. As elements and as loathsome. Yatta pachayam pavattamanam dhatumatta mevetum yudidam gilanu puchaya gilanapachya bhe sajja parikaro tuddupu bhunjakocha pugalo dhatu matako nisoto nijivo sunno subho punnayam gilanapachya bhe sajja purikaro ajiguchiyo imam putikayam patva utiviya jigu chino jayati. Those who are not well versed in the Pali language may not fully realize in their minds the reasons and conditions of reflection. By reciting the Pali stanzas, therefore, such reflection in an unknown language is of no use and does not remove defilements such as greed and conceit caused by requisites. Therefore, it is better to learn the following sentences and reflect in Sinhala, English in this case. The English reflection paras.